You are about to listen to the Neverdaily Podcast.
This is the biggest thing since the Zapruder film.
So many questions.
I don't have any answers.
But please don't stop listening
To the Neverdaily Podcast.
Paging Kent.
Hey-o.
Kent Chungus.
What?
Please come to the ER.
Okay.
Paging Kent. Dr. Kent Chungus. Please
On the
come.
way.
Please come to the ER. Please come to the ER.
Welcome to the Neverdaily Podcast, where we are nuts deep in triage.
All right.
Kent barely made it to this episode. Jess barely can make it through because we started this morning with full frontal medical before we started hitting record. We've been talking about Kent's got a problem. Jess has several problems.
Yeah, Jess, we found out, has an obsession with like bot flies and bed bugs
She loves
and maggots and any kind of bug that burrows in the human skin. And she loves the videos and pictures of it. So if you guys have any of that stuff, just send it to her.
I will quit right now.
Kent, really quick, just one thing. I don't think you can call them maggots. I think that's offensive.
Oh, what do we call them now?
I'm not sure, but I think maggot is, you can't say that. You can't say it.
What is your, and then we also found out Sam has a weakness. The operator's weakness. Forgot we're actually recording now.
We should just shut it down. Yeah, like I should just be Sam from now. Just like one day, it's just like boop, gone. We killed the operator.
Well, we found out that the operator's weakness is children.
I didn't. You can't say it that way.
How else am I supposed to say it? That's your weakness.
We were talking about gore, and we were talking about how. Remember, I said I could watch gore videos, like real life, people being dismembered and stuff. Turn my phone off, go to bed, and I have no problem with it. That's also I'll probably answer for having that desensitized of a soul. But I was saying the one thing, there is zero ability for me to watch anything having to do with children. Can't do it. With regard to tragedy like that, let's just put a big banner on it. I won't watch videos about children. How about that? That sounds acceptable. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And I will not watch.
Oh, welcome to today's
bugs, infesting bugs.
You're gonna have to bring your mic over your face there, ASMR Jess.
I'm here.
Okay, fine. You're here.
Are we not going to talk about the elephant in the room?
Don't
Me?
call. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Jess. I have no idea.
Are we not going to talk about what Kent is wearing?
That was a little rude.
Well, you just tortured me.
I'm trying to lose weight. Okay,
Wow, Jess, that's hurtful.
I was kidding about the bug thing, but I feel like that was a little much.
Jess just pulls out her Mean Girls tactics from high school.
Why don't we talk about this fucking disgusting bearded fat ass in the room? I think what she's referring to is this glorious shirt that I'm wearing.
No, I don't think we need to bring it up at all. Nope.
I had this pop up in the mail as a surprise from Stephen Hunter, one of our listeners,
and his beautiful wife,
and his beautiful wife Teresa. Yeah. And it's an ode to Op's stupid shirt. The difference, however, is I'm wearing this ironically, and Op was wearing his seriously.
It's sleeveless. Now, you said that when you got it, you didn't need...
No, they ordered... It came like this.
I don't even understand.
It's designed like this.
Oh, they didn't even cut off the sleeves. It came sleeveless.
It's hemmed.
No.
Yeah.
That I take it back. I have led my life
all the way.
I have led my life believing that one way to gain compassion and love for others is to realize that no one wakes up and gets out of bed thinking about doing evil. And when and if you come across somebody that actually wakes up thinking of doing evil, just you can feel comforted that knowing that it's like 0.001% of people. But that just changed my mind. You're telling me someone manufactures that shirt.
That's what I'm telling you. And I would imagine that 98% of their sales go to two places. One, some small town in Florida, and two, Louisiana.
They've sold their soul. They literally sold their soul.
Kyle in the comment section says, sleeves look for Kent Chungus under the bed at night.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Kyle, keep that up and I might have you become a podcaster. Ouch. I almost passed out with that laugh.
And it's just got this really ugly floral pattern that I just love. It looks like something that you would wear seriously.
Okay. Now here's the thing I have to say. When you showed up with that amazing that shirt on, I know that 6 months ago I left for a minute because I came back and I didn't have it, but I have.
Hold on, can I tell this story?
Sure. Yeah.
Op owned this shirt
with sleeves.
Unironically. He got so excited he jumped up and ran out to get his shirt, and his wife probably donated it to save their marriage.
She said, I donated it 6 months ago.
I'm glad my wife isn't the only one that does that.
Yeah.
I'll be looking for like my favorite pair of underwear or my basketball shorts that I've been wearing since 2009.
Yeah.
I'll be like, where did my shorts go? She's like, Kent, I threw those away 4 months ago. And wives are the only ones that are allowed to do that. Husbands can't do that. I can't throw one of her bras away because like, you've been wearing this bra long enough, lady. But men's clothes are allowed to just vanish.
Also, speaking of the long suffering of women, it's interesting to note that like right now, I have 2 pairs of shorts that, I had 3 that at night I just mindlessly put on. I put them on because I'm done wearing pants for the day. You know, I'm moving more toward like going to bed. Suddenly there is no longer 3. Now there were 2. And I was like, hey, have you seen the basketball, my basketball shorts? And she goes, yeah, I threw them. When did you buy those? And I said, let's see, 9/11 hadn't happened yet. She goes, you've had those for 22 years. I was like, yeah, but they're fine. They're basketball. What? She's like, they're disgusting. I had no idea. Like, they're fine to me.
Exactly. You're just lounging in them. It doesn't matter if they're covered in holes and one of your testicles keeps popping out of one side of the crotch because it's for the lounging.
Here's the thing. What women, there's an understanding that women should have, and that is pockets are one thing, but a pocket with a hole in it becomes a whole new adventure.
Yeah.
Because You can reroute stuff through that hole internally, like you're dropping Cat5 cable through the walls of a house. You can reroute stuff inside your shorts into that pocket hole, and then you just created basically a shorts video game for yourself. Just insert hand. Just say.
I had a pair of New Balance shoes. How
old are you?
I'm 36.
Wow. Okay.
And my New Balance shoes were for mowing and weed eating. And that's what I used when I was mowing and weed eating. And heaven hated them. And I'm not wearing them to church. Mainly because I'm not going to church, but I'm also not wearing them to Cheddar's when we're having our anniversary dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing them out to the movies. These are specifically to weed eat and mow in. Yeah. And Heaven absolutely hated them. She hated them. She said they were old man shoes. And one day I go to weed eat and my New Balance shoes are gone. And I said, where the hell are my mowing and weed eating shoes? She said, I throw them away. And it almost ended our marriage. Those were so comfortable. They had the support in the center of them. That they were good on my feet. They had a Velcro. They didn't have shoestrings. They had Velcro. I'm kidding about the Velcro, but guys can't do that. We can't do that.
I got it. Okay, you know what? Let's try something. After this episode, sometime today, we each we're just going to hide it. But we are going to find an item of clothing from our wives that is a regular wear. And we're going to hide it. And then when they say, have you seen this? Or they won't even ask us because they know we haven't seen it. But they'll be frustrated. They'll be like, what the you'll hear it. And you'll be like, what's wrong? And they'll be like, this. And you say, oh, yeah, I threw that away. You know how long you've had that? Just, let's see. And we'll circle back on this show, Neverdaily. Did I say it? Neverdaily Podcast.
You don't even know the name of the podcast anymore.
I do. I do.
I think the trade-off for women being allowed to throw away items that are dear to us, clothing-wise, is that the trade-off is that we're allowed to look for things that are right in front of us, and them finding it after 3 seconds. I think the trade-off is being like, where?
For example, what did you have to do to go find out where that shirt was? You ran to your wife and asked her where it was.
Yeah, I think that's the trade-off.
Well, I knew that if I went in and looked at my closet and was I don't understand why this happens to our brains as husbands. I don't understand it. I'm literally looking at my clothes. I'm like, honey, have you seen my Hawaiian shirt that's black on the back? And I'll be looking. I can't see it. She'll walk in front of me and grab it. And it's like a magic trick. It's like she's Sheriff and Ginston from Las Vegas Tiger Show. I don't know how they do it. But also, let me argue this point. Let's say you go into your garage and you're like, I need a 5/38 bolt with the fine threads. Doop, 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 boop, boop, boop. You can find it like that.
I know where bolts are in my head right now.
That's what I don't understand it. Like if somebody said, hey, where's this particular roll of tape? I have a catalog of my 85 pieces of rolls of tape in my head. I can tell you exactly where that roll of tape. I can tell you where the super glue is. And they're like, no, not the gel. I want the other one. And I know exactly which one. I know how to get them there.
But the difference is that you know one space versus every space in the house for every individual in the house.
But it's frustrating because
that one space is very important.
Oh, but when your child comes and says, "Where is my blah, blah, blah?"
Kids are spoiled these days.
I feel like there's two major things that men can't find. One is anything in the house, and two is the G-spot.
There's no such thing.
I agree. I think the Loch Ness Monster is more real. Just kidding.
I think the other trade-off is that I'm bitching about various clothing going missing, but I also will periodically find new underwear in my underwear drawer. And I'm like, oh, look, somebody broke into the house and put new underwear in my drawer.
Underwear fairy.
It's convenient. I better wear these underwear. And I hadn't even thought about it. Or I'll be like, oh, look, I've got new socks. That's odd. This is a magical dresser.
Yeah.
I just realized my wife is married to a giant toddler. I just had that realization, like right now.
Exactly. Here's another thing.
Here's the thing. I've thrown away clothing that my daughters will wear over and over and over again. My 3-year-old had this raggedy, busted, stained little dress that was 9 sizes too small for her that she refused, that I quietly snuck it into the garbage one night. And I just realized that's exactly what my wife is doing to me.
Yeah. Also talking long suffering of the women, the women flavor of human. Have you ever gone in and just made a meal for yourself?
Actually, for myself,
like just rolled into the kitchen and you're like, do, and you just made a plate of something and you're like, I'm going to eat it. And then your wife kind of goes, did you ask the kids if they want anything? Or you're gonna just make pizza rolls for yourself? And
oh yeah, like pizza rolls. I do that all the time. But if I cook for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like you're like, I'm gonna make a pot roast. Like
a turkey and some dressing, one serving size. Yeah.
I'm not good. Like I don't have like a universal, like a global view of around me and which humans are starving. Like my timelines are so weird, that I'll just go in and make a plate of stuff. And then I look over and both of my daughters have like those big watery anime eyes. And they're like, but Tattoo, what about us, huh? I would love some pizza rolls too, huh?
You throw one in the floor.
I'm like, here you go. Ha ha ha. Get it, huh? Ooh, to throw it on the ground for you.
I do ask if I'm making something that I know they'll eat. And I used to be able to do that when I made steak.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to reverse course. I'm going to figure out how to fix this. And I believe it's probably through like a training video or something. Speaking of training videos, I wanted to mention this because of the conversation we had before we started this. I was a volunteer at Health South. I don't know if you've ever heard of Health South. It's a massive like hospital chain in the South, the U.S., the southern states. Health South. You guys have Health South where you're at, Kent?
Nope.
Okay. So I know it's in like Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. Anyway, I would do volunteer work there. And the first day of volunteer work, they make you kind of go through this OSHA kind of training and all this. And there's a video. And I've been trying to hunt it down, but I think there's other ones that are just as worthy. When they said, okay, now we're going to watch a video on washing your hands. And I was like, guess what? I know how to do that, lady. And then they showed me the video, and all I can say is I now believe that you could wash your hands bloody and still not feel like they're clean enough after watching the video that they show you in hospitals about washing your hands. Like, you ever watched a doctor and he's just like crazy scrubbing with a steel wool or a laser trying to get everything out from underneath his nails. You ever seen that? Just and he's washing his whole forearm and everything. That's because he's watched the hand washing video at the hospital. If you ever want to just change the way you wash hands, watch that one of them on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and you just type in hand hygiene video for healthcare workers, and you'll find several. But just watch one or two, and it'll change your life. You'll also and it'll give you a phobia of something. Jess, I figured out what you have phobia wise. Could you hear that?
Hear what?
Could you hear my throat do
you
that
farted.
thing?
Your neck talk.
No, it was my chest. It went. Anyway,
It was a mouth fart.
Jess, you have trypophobia. Experts don't know why some people develop trypophobia. One theory is that the brain associates clusters of holes with danger. For example, you may associate a pattern of small holes with the skin of a venomous snake or the eyes of a tarantula, or holes may remind you of skin diseases or skin rashes. Another theory is that your brain uses more energy and oxygen to process holy patterns, triggering feelings of distress. It may also be a feature of obsessive compulsive disorder. So if you have a fear of like groupings of holes in the skin with things in it, you've got trypophobia. And if you don't have that and you like watching pimple popping videos, go to YouTube.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a rough one. Oh, that's a rough one. Jess has her eyes completely closed. If you want to appreciate what we're talking about, go to YouTube and just search mango fly removal, and then
It's
watch them
gone,
remove them from the. Oh, Jess left. Did Jess leave?
It's gone, Jess.
It's gone, Jess. Jess, it's gone. It's not gone.
Shit, it's not gone.
Got her. Tricked her. Anyway, we should start the show. It's Friday. Oh, wait, Kent, before you start that, really quick, I just wanted to say something. The month of August is going to be kind of fun and a little bit weird because we've got various and sundry types of content that will be hitting your earballs. We've got some new stuff that we're going to be dropping in labs, and I'm excited about that. We'll have some random live stuff as well that will come to you. Some of it you'll be able to participate in on a global scale, on a group scale. Others it'll just be very spontaneous, but we're excited about it. And that's all I'm going to say. But just know if you're like, oh, what's happening with August as far as content and the mishmash and everything, it's intentional. So that's all I'll say. It's August is going to be a really surprising month. It's also the last month of summer. So, we're trying to wrap up stupid trips to the lake and stuff like that. But, you will not be bereft of content. It's going to be great.
Anyways, it's Creepypasta Friday up.
Yes.
And today I brought a very highly rated creepypasta. And the name of it is Knocking by Stephen Shorter. Knocking by Stephen Shorter.
Okay.
And action. It started when I was 6 years old. I was in school. It was the middle of a reading lesson, and I needed to pee badly. At that age, actually, a fair few kids still wet themselves, and I always got paranoid about embarrassing myself in public like that. I stuck my hand up and told Miss Zebby that I needed to use the bathroom. After the usual speech about how I should have gone at break. She gave me the key to the disabled access toilet, as it was the closest one to my classroom. It was the middle of fifth period, and the corridors were empty and seemed cavernous to me. I was a short, scrawny thing back then. I sometimes had trouble with doors, especially unlocking them, and I fumbled for a good minute or two in trying to get the blasted thing open. Anyway, as I sat there on my porcelain throne, there came a knocking at the door.
I don't know. I figured you were like pausing for a second.
Oh, here. Anyways, I sat there on my porcelain throne. There came a knocking at the door. Someone's in here, I called, disgruntled at this disturbance. There came a pause, and then the knocking resumed. It was faster now, more determined. It was faster now, more determined.
Oh. I don't know.
Sounds like somebody
too fast.
jerking off. It sounds like somebody jerking off in a cave. But I guess it will suffice for.
Hold on, let me try again.
That just sounds like a cave.
Okay, if you need a cave though, the code during this story, just code word is cave sounds, and I'll do that.
Okay, I'll do the knocking then.
All right, you do knock.
There came a pause, then the knocking resumed. It was faster now, more determined. Wait a minute! The knocking slowed, and a voice replied. Let me in. I need to come inside. The speaker's tone was thin and reedy, an adult I didn't recognize. I may have been 6, but also had a fairly good understanding of bathroom etiquette, mainly that you didn't let more than one person into an area only slightly larger than a cupboard. Go away! This is a serious story. Stop laughing.
Okay, serious.
It's very serious. The knocking intensified again until it was a frantic drum beat just a few feet from me and out of sight. I heard the voice shouting something, growing more and more desperate. Let me in! Just open the door, please. I was terrified by that point. The hammering and yelling was so loud, and yet nobody had come to investigate it. Eventually, my teacher came to find me, angry because I had been gone for almost half an hour. When I refused to open the door to let her in, she got a spare key from the receptionist and then took me to the headmaster's office and called my parents. I was suspended for the rest of the week. I never told anyone what happened. This is a little harsh.
Yeah.
Suspended for a week for being in the shitter for 30 minutes?
What a jerk. What does they go to? Like a
What is
nunnery?
they go to? You're right. What is they go to?
What does they go to? I want a dog. I feel like that's how that would. What does they go to, Dada? I want a dog.
As we're speaking, your wife is throwing out your holy underwear. You fucking toddler.
It has double meaning with my underwear.
You motherfucker. Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, where was I? Let me see. So he gets scared. He's in the bathroom for 30 minutes, and then they suspend him for the rest of the week. All right. It was a few weeks before my next encounter with this phenomenon. I had just celebrated my 7th birthday, and my family was having a barbecue in my honor. It was a gloriously sunny day, but As soon as we'd set everything up in the allotments behind our house, the coal refused to light. My dad asked me to go and get some fire starters from the shed in the front garden. It was pretty cramped inside, and I wouldn't fit all the way in, so I just opened it up, stood on tiptoes to reach the shelf holding my objective, and then shut the door. As I turned away, though, a frantic knocking hit the other side of the door in the shed. Open up. I need to come through. This voice was not the one I'd heard the month before. It was deeper, more brooding and angry. Oh, okay. Open up. I need to come through. Did that sound brooding and angry?
They're definitely not going to open the door for that voice. Sounded like Ernest Hemingway.
I said nothing and hurried away. I had no idea what was happening, but it frightened me. As I walked away, there came a final thump, like a fist being slammed against... Fucking ad keeps playing, and it scares the shit out of me. It just randomly starts blaring, and you guys can't hear it, so now I just sound like a big dildo. But there's an ad in the corner that just randomly unmutes itself, and I'll be talking, and then it's like, do you want to buy a Toyota? Fucking Camrys! Yes!
This episode brought to you by Toyota.
So whenever I'm sorry, but that's very distracting when I'm in the middle of reading and then somebody's screaming at me about Corollas. Okay, back to the story. I said nothing and hurried away. I had no idea what was happening, but it frightened me. As I walked away, there came a final thump, like a fist being slammed against wood, and I heard his voice again. You little bastard! I'll rip your fucking teeth out! Let me through! I ran back to my party and spent the rest of the day glancing over my shoulder. As you might have guessed by now, there were a lot of these voices. I count at least 30 total. Every month or so I used to get them, pleading to be let through the doors. Always, it would be immediately after I shut the door behind me, as though these strange entities had been following me. I never told anyone, but to be honest, I kind of just got used to it. It always made me jump, and some of the voices would make me feel uneasy, but I knew that I was safe as long as I did not open the door. Some of the voices I got used to the extent that I even named them. There was one which always used to appear at my front door at home. We have frosted glass, and I could see a silhouette of an average-sized man wearing a cap of some kind. He never spoke, but oh, Corolla! That wasn't part of the story. Sorry, I just got scared that the thing played again. I don't know how to make it not do that either. I don't know how to. I can't make the ad go away.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
All
right. Let's see here. Can you just mute one tab?
Yeah. Just right click on it. Mute site. Right click on the tab. Mute site.
On tab. I don't have an option for mute site.
Are you in Chrome?
I'm in, yes, Chrome.
Yeah, it should be right click on the tab right below. It should second section, reload, duplicate, pin, mute site.
All right, I'm going to have to share my screen so you can see.
Okay. This is technical support for the Neverdaily Podcast.
Where do I go? What do I do? See this ad right here?
Yeah.
It just starts randomly playing volume.
Can you click the X above it, upper right? See the little X? Click.
Okay, that option wasn't there before, though. I'm not an idiot. That option wasn't there before.
Now try right-clicking on the tab, sir. Make sure it's active.
Here?
Yep. Right-click with your mouse, and then yeah, you don't have it. I think because you probably have to update your Chrome, sir. So after we're done here, try updating Chrome to the latest version, and then you should have it.
Okay. Well,
Thank you
try
for calling.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Here we go. Where was I?
Somewhere interesting.
It always made me jump, and some of the voices would make me feel uneasy, but I knew that I was safe, so long as I did not open the door. Some of the voices I got used to the extent that I even named them. There was one which always used to appear at my front door at home. We have frosted glass, and I could see a silhouette of an average-sized man wearing a cap of some kind. He never spoke, but occasionally would push envelopes containing blank pieces of paper through the letterbox. I called him the postman. He was one of the more What?
Creative. It's creative.
He was one of the more unsettling ones. If I tried to speak to him, he would look up sharply, then begin knocking. I generally left the postman alone. 20 years on, and I have retained as much normality as possible. I have plenty of friends, and I even have an on and off relationship with a girl I met last year. Not bad for a guy who wakes up in the middle of the night and listens intently to noises you can't hear on the other side of the door. Yeah, my buddies think I'm strange and kooky, but they put up with it. They're all great. I'll miss them. You see, they're all great. I'll miss them.
Yeah, well,
you see,
what just happened there?
Well, you're getting ready to find out.
Oh, okay.
They're all great. I'll sure miss them. You see, things have started to get strange. Well, stranger than usual, I suppose. 3 weeks ago, I awoke, sweating and crying, though I do not know why. My dream had been, from what I recall, fairly normal, and when a huge shadow had abruptly fallen over everything. Literally, the second I opened my eyes, there came the knocking at my bedroom door. Not just normal knocking, though. This was truly frantic. "Who goes there?" I yelled. "Please help us," it replied. I was surprised. It was the sadistic, angry voice that I remember from my father's shed on my... Oh, okay. "Who goes there?" I yelled. "Please help us," it replied. I was surprised. It was the sadistic, angry voice that I remember from my father's shed on my 7th birthday, but it seemed genuinely insincere. There was a pained tone to it, too, as though the speaker were grievously wounded. I actually found myself pulling back the sheets to get up, but I hesitated. I had never before been tempted to open the door. I suppose, as a child, I had so rigorously drummed into my head that the idea that whatever lay beyond was evil that it was just common sense. To be quite honest, I came very close to letting the thing into my room that morning. I held out in the end. It got worse, though. Just 2 days later, I was in my local corner shop. I just paid for a bottle of milk and a newspaper when a great force slammed against the shop door. Simultaneously, a voice began screaming, a long, keening squeal of pain. I whirled to face the door, but there were so many flyers plastered over the glass that I could only just make out the shape of a woman on the other side, slapping her palms against the window. The shopkeeper stared at me as though I were crazy. In the end, I asked if he had a bathroom I could use, murmured some half-thought-out excuse, and hid there for 10 minutes until the screaming stopped. There were 4 more incidents between then and now, a mixture of screams and tearful begging. The postman stopped by yesterday, too. He knocked politely before sliding his usual letter through the letterbox. Then another. A total of 10 plain brown envelopes. The postman waited for a few minutes, knocking occasionally, and then he left me alone. Each letter contained a sheet of A4 paper, but somebody had taken a black pen to the pages, scribbling and shading them with such vigor that they were large tears around the center, and the edges were frayed. I shoved them back into their envelopes and tried to put it from my mind. Earlier, my bedroom door shook violently. It wasn't a scream or a howl or a roar that I heard, though. It was just crying. Dozens and dozens of voices sobbing quietly. Another blow struck my door. Plaster flaked from the walls and swirled to the carpet. Still no pleas or bargaining, just sobbing. Crash. And see, I would love to read this story, but we need to tech support again because I don't even know how this fucking website. How do I get this fucking ad out of the way?
Hey, let me look at that, sir, for you. Okay. So with this one
so
here.
it just went away.
Yeah.
It just went. Oh.
It's
like,
back.
how is that even? Like, why do they even? Why would you even let that on your website? I don't even understand.
It's going to trigger itself every time if your mouse leaves the page and goes toward the tab up top. That's what triggers those. Yeah, that's what triggers those, sir.
Maybe we can copy and paste them into a Word doc.
I can't hear Jess. Can you hear Jess, Kent?
I can't.
Can you hear me now?
There.
Yeah. Maybe we can copy and paste it into like a Word doc.
Next time. I think that might be helpful.
Pasta, not a copy pasta.
That's dumb.
And I'm just going to give you guys a minute to laugh about that one.
This episode's great.
Jess, I don't think you heard me. I said it's a creepy pasta, not a copy pasta. After we get done with this creepy pasta, I'll tell you a joke about a ship.
Oh, yes, get her.
All right. Earlier, my bedroom door shook violently. It wasn't a scream or a howl or a roar that I heard, though. It was just crying. Dozens and dozens of voices sobbing quietly. Another blow struck my door. Plaster flaked from the walls and swirled to the carpet. Still no pleas or bargaining, just sobbing. Crash! Now that was me. Hey, do you have like a crash noise, like somebody beating against the...
Like, do you want kind of a, like somebody try to break down a door?
Yes.
All right. Yep, I've got one. Hold on one second.
Good.
Let me just... 1 second.
Probably the best episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
I like the part where Jess said, maybe you should copy and paste it next time. And I said, this is a creepypasta, not a copy pasta.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. 1 second.
Yeah, I need a second too. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, right. You're right.
I'm going to use that one on the
Oh my
CK.
gosh. This episode's brought to you by Toyota. 1 second. I'm just about done queuing up that sound.
Okay.
We should do this. We should do it this way a lot more. It's very interactive. Feels like an NPR show.
Yeah.
It really. Okay. Let me close that. Exit transfer mode. All right.
Okay. Now, whenever I
go back.
Now, whenever I do this, whenever I hold up 5 fingers, you push the crash button.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start back on that paragraph. You ready?
All right. Yep.
Earlier, my bedroom door shook violently. It wasn't a scream or a howl or a roar that I heard, though. It was just crying. Dozens and dozens of voices sobbing quietly. Another blow struck my door. Plaster flaked from the walls and swirled to the carpet. Still no pleas or bargaining, just sobbing. Huh. I jumped up from my chair. I jumped up from my chair. A hairline crack split the frame of the door in one corner. A phone began to ring, and I heard a sharp rapping at the glass of my window behind the curtains.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
That wasn't supposed to be there.
Classic.
I tried to answer. Okay. My phone began to ring, and I heard a sharp rapping at the glass of my window behind the curtains. I tried answering the phone, but it was simply yet more voices crying. Not even sobbing, though, more like bawling in terror and anguish. I hung up, but it kept ringing, so I took the battery out. I have shoved most of my furniture against the door and window. It has been 3 hours since the latest attempt at entry again. It has been 3 hours since the latest attempt at entry began. The battering has not abated, nor has the crying. I'm fairly sure that my door won't hold much longer. As for my mediocre barricade, it could be swept aside in 2 minutes. I find myself faced with the very real possibility of death, so I am writing this memoir of sorts, just in case something does happen. What do they want? Do they even want to hurt me? They seemed fearless, even malicious before. What could have driven them to this? Maybe I should open the door. Maybe I should let them in. Silence fell. Silence fell. You get a little trigger happy with the buttons over there. Silence fell. I realized that even the crying had ceased. For a whole minute, I sat there. Then I got up and hurried to my door, eager to escape this claustrophobic situation. Perhaps I'd go outside where I could be far away from any doors and from the damn knocking. I pulled away my barricade and turned the handle. It was locked. Kneeling, I peered through the keyhole. Beyond my bedroom door was not the corridor that I remembered, but another room. Some kind of library or classroom, I think. It seemed unoccupied, but for one kid sitting and reading with his back to me. I banged on the door. Hey, kid. No. It's just a knocking. I do the knocking. It's not the bang. It seemed unoccupied, but for one kid sitting and reading with his back to me. I banged on the door. Hey, kid, let me out, okay? He glanced over his shoulder. Yeah, over here. Could you open the door, please? I can't. I'm in detention. I'm not supposed to talk to anyone. Go away. He turned from me, confused and exasperated. I began to stand up. A loud bang shattered the silence once more. I realized it sounded like a fist being pounded against glass. My window. I heard it again. But this was not the frantic knocking of somebody wanting to get inside. This was not even an attempt to break in. Whatever was beyond the curtain and glass knew I was inside. It knew I was frightened. in the most predatory and sadistic way possible. It wanted me to be afraid. I turned back to the door and began hammering on it frantically. Hey, kid, come on, let me in, okay? I really need you to open the door. Oh, God damn it.
You put your hand up.
I did this.
What does that mean?
It's the drop, the bass drop. Hold on, but don't use it yet.
Oh, wait,
no, not that. You ruined the story. Here, I'll say it again. I'll say the last part again.
All right.
Hey, let me in, okay, kid? I really need you to open the door. Oh, I think we nailed that.
Wait, that was the story?
That was the story. And I really think we nailed it.
We're going to have to review our sign language after this.
I have no idea what just happened with that story.
It's because you're not listening. Your camera said app is not focused the entire time.
No, it said op is not focused.
Did you hear where I said copy pasta?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
The boom ghost music still playing.
So I did like this creepy pasta, and I know you don't know what happened. It's a little vague. It has kind of It Follows kind of feel to it, where we don't know really what's going on, but it's one of those stories where in the end he is what he was afraid of the entire time. It's some kind of situation where they're stuck in maybe another dimension or something. But in the first 2 acts of the story, he is in the normal world and he's having to deal with this supernatural thing that keeps beating on his door, trying to get him to come in. And in the 3rd act, he kind of jumps dimensions or whatever and ends up, without knowing it, being the thing that was stuck in that dimension trying to get in. And it turns out that what was beating on the doors the entire time was just people stuck there trying to get away from whatever this predator is in this place.
Oh.
Bass drop. What'd you bring for us today, Op?
I brought something that was really good. So strap yourself in.
Okay.
We've got an election. Okay, I just need to preface this one. Well, it's the last time I'm shotgunning yogurt before a show.
Is that what you call it?
It's all throaty, like I'm all throaty now.
Mm.
I think I might have not mixed the fruit on the bottom well enough. Hey, do you ever take a fruit on the bottom yogurt and then surgically try to eat all the yogurt without touching the fruit on the bottom and then eat the fruit on the bottom separately?
Nope. I cannot say I've ever done that.
It's gross.
Yeah. I don't like yogurt with fruit in it anyway. I would like my fruit to be separate from the yogurt.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about something here. You know all the things I said about artificial intelligence and AI, right?
Oh, God damn it.
This has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with it. Okay, so I want to just couple a couple things together here at the beginning. So I've talked about AI and how it's going to change everything. And it's either in one area and out the other, or you might be catching on to that, or it might hit you soon-ish later in, the year or 2 or 3. We know that. Also, I don't know that we've actually talked about it much on the show. We probably should focus on it on an episode, but there was just a congressional hearing, a panel with actual military and departmental experts from the government talking about what the government is hiding as far as UFOs. Have you seen any of this or heard about any of it?
I haven't.
Okay. We'll go into it a little more, but I want to link a couple things together because we got AI, which is going to change everything, in my opinion. These congressional hearings just happened, and I don't know what world we're living in where literally a congresswoman asks the panel this question. So, sir, you're saying that the government has not only retrieved crashed UFOs, but they've actually been capturing UFOs as well, uncrashed. Yes, Matt. Yes, Congressman, that's correct. Now consider this. These are still employed people from governmental agencies. Okay, these aren't like wackadoo, some guy running a blog somewhere. Then she says this. All right, so in the material that's been captured or retrieved, has there been any biological material that's been captured? Yes, Congressman, that's correct. Has any of that biological material been non-human? Yes, Congresswoman, that's correct. Non-human biological material is how they would quantify it. Okay, so if you hear that in a congressional hearing and then you just go and have lunch at Wendy's, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to process that. Like, that's the world. Okay, part one, AI, changing everything. Part two, we're now having congressional hearings about UFOs where they're saying that they're finding non-human extraterrestrial stuff inside. And so is that, I don't know how to process that. So anyway, these are real things that are happening. Okay, I'm going to give you one more to add to the list of things that are literally, in my opinion, going to change everything in the next, 8 minutes. Okay. Kent, have you ever seen one of those electromagnets where it's like they freeze the bottom magnet and then it's science class. We all saw it. You put one magnet.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you know what is most frustrating to me about that entire thing that you just said?
What?
They'll answer the question directly. So you got alien bodies? Yes, Congressman. That's correct. How about this one? They're talking to some doctor. Did you tweet on August 11th, 2017 that, quote, all white people should die? Unquote. First, I'd like to say, Congressman, thank you for asking that question. I'm glad that we could bring this up. First off, during the Civil War,
they're not. So you're saying that there's a difference between what should never just be a yes/no question about extraterrestrials, and
what
a
I'm
yes/no
saying
question.
is.
One is obviously a yes/no question, and the other should really be looked into more.
Yeah.
We live in an upside down. Did you tweet that? That's a yes/no question. It's not an introduction for a diatribe.
Doctor, I've got a question here. Do you support abortion up to the day before delivery? Congressman, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to answer that question. Pregnancy is a loose word. I don't understand what you mean by that. Meanwhile, are we not, sir, are we not alone in the entire universe? Yes or no? And this is, keep in mind, something that could ruin humanity. This is a universal life-changing moment for humanity. Do aliens exist? Yes, Congressman, that's correct.
The one question that you should just shut up and let that person talk for 4 hours, and they just go, yes, that's correct. And that's it. What world are we living in? Oh, man. Anyway, okay, so part 1 AI, right? Gonna change everything, I think. Part 2, we're sitting on I don't know what you call that. I don't know if that's a gold mine or a landmine with the whole UFO alien thing, but it's no longer in the realm of conspiracy theory and everything. We literally have governmental agencies saying, we got it. And so more to come on that, TBD on how much they're going to tell us. But let me introduce you to something that happened this weekend, late last week into this week. So you remember the science experiment where they put a magnet in liquid nitrogen or something, and then they put another magnet on top of it and it floats?
Yes.
So that's electromagnet. It's what do they call that?
I got a feeling you're going to start talking about a superconductor.
Superconductor. Yeah. So that's a superconductor. There's even videos online where there's a video of a guy that has a magnetized ring, right? And it's submerged sort of in liquid nitrogen. It's frozen. It's very, 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 very cold. And then he puts another metal or magnetic object on top of it, and it just sits there. And then he pokes it, and it changes its angle, and it stays at that angle. It doesn't like other magnets. It doesn't try to correct itself and bounce all over the place. It just goes, and it stays there. And then he pushes it, and it goes around the whole ring. And the ring is 2 feet wide, so it's just this magnet. It's okay, I'll just do what you told me to. And it stays on top of this frozen magnet, right?
Yeah, you ever heard of LK99?
Oh, shut your mouth right now, because that's what I'm about to drop on you. Anyway, we've also got some other things. We've all played with this game where you take 2 magnets and you flip one around and they won't go together, right? They push against each other. That's the principle behind maglev trains, magnetic levitation, which is, something that we know already. Maglev trains, go to Japan, you'll see a maglev and it goes 7 million miles an hour. It's a very powerful technology. Here's the problem with this is that to date, the whole superconductor thing, which allows for this flotation resistance between anti-resistance between two things, you've always had to super freeze stuff. So you can't have a maglev train driving hundreds of miles on a track that's submerged in liquid nitrogen. You can't have that. It's not realistic. All right. Here's a dizzying theme park roller coaster for you. We've got folks running around with their lab coats in a tizzy over LK99, which is a compound. It's causing more excitement than the announcement of free coffee in the break room. Now, here's another thing about this is you've all heard, just Google this sometime, engines that run on water or engines that, car engines that'll run 1,000 miles on a gallon of gas.
That's not, it's not politically correct. It's Native Americans.
Native Americans that run on water. Okay. But this. We all know this. When somebody invents an engine, a automotive engine, a combustion engine that bucks the trend and can drive 1,000 miles on a gallon of gas or runs on water, what happens to that inventor?
Can I answer this one?
Yeah.
He commits suicide.
Yeah, he does. Or he has a heart problem.
He gets committed suicided.
Yeah. Or he's got a heart problem, which nowadays, heart problems, we just say, help me, I'm having a coincidence. Oh. Zing, score.
I seem to have fallen off a building onto some bullets.
Yeah. So these guys die. Or something weird happens and their patents are no longer. They've been bought and then they're hidden. We know this. We know this isn't conspiracy theory land, right? Okay. Here's what's crazy about what's happening with LK99. It's not happening in a secret lab. It's not happening in some guy's garage under the, the looking eyes of the NSA or something. This is happening on Twitter. Legitimate research scientists in Korea. Okay, I'll get into this. Scientists in Korea. Okay, sorry, it's just kind of complex. But scientists in Korea have created a way to have this levitation happen, this superconductivity between two metallic compounds at room temperature in normal atmosphere, meaning it doesn't require a vacuum. It's not in a glass case. It's not at 0 degrees. It's at room temperature in normal air environment. Okay, so imagine superconductors on steroids. So crunching numbers and running artificial intelligence faster than you can say, Siri, where are my keys? Don't forget about quantum computers too, and magnets, maglev trains, MRI machines, electric motors. So you name it. So the superconductors are like the multi-talented cousin who can sing and dance and juggle and do all that stuff all at the same time. So 2 teams of eggheads have done some preliminary tests, and it's so far looking good. And all of their results are out on Twitter, which is different than everything else, where everybody that's done the motor thing or made some innovation like this that could literally change society, they've done it quietly, and then they sit on their idea until some mysterious person comes in like, can we buy your patent? And they're like, well, how much? And they're like, money is no object. And then either the person dies or they sell their patent, and then we never see it as the consuming popular or society never sees it. So these 2 teams have run simulations and experiments, crunched the numbers, and even posted videos on Twitter of what's called the Meissner effect. Okay, not to be confused with the German footballer, the Meissner effect is all about superconductors kicking out magnetic fields. Now imagine this. Grab your phone, drop it on the table. The reason that happens is because gravity pulls on the object. Good job. You did it. Well, grab your potato, drop it on the table. Okay, but 2 things are happening there. The phone is pulled toward the table because of gravity, but the other reason that the phone is pulled toward the table is because the object itself has its own tiny itty bitty piece of gravity inside of it. Because it has mass, it's got a gravity of its own, right?
Yes.
So the way to see this is imagine a puffball that is so light and so delicate and it's floating, and imagine that puffball can, in reality, this is true. Your phone has enough mass that it could attract that puffball to the phone because there's little baby gravity inside of every object. Pick an object up and that's why it's got weight. That's why, but imagine this. The idea behind the superconductivity that we're talking about basically takes the gravity of any object, and it says, rather than having the gravity inside the object, let's make it as a kind of a force field around the object now. So rather than it having weight and gravity going, I know what to do with this, I'll pull it toward myself. If you could get the gravity outside of your object and turn it into a bubble around it, that object floats. Wherever it wants to.
Yeah.
Floats. Just floats. It defies gravity. And so basically that's what they're doing here is the Meissner effect kicks out magnetic fields, which causes things to levitate. So it takes whatever magnetic energy inside of it, or that magnetic energy, and it turns it into a bubble around that object, just like you'd see in Star Trek or Star Wars or any of your Star movies. Okay.
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. Yeah. Starman.
Yeah.
Star-Lord. Okay. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, though, because I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, and everybody's probably like, when is this going to end?
You were so excited right now. You were just, I could tell you were rock hard.
Rarely do you come across something where you kind of can say to an audience that hasn't heard about it, you heard it here first. But also about something that give it 2 years and everybody will know this term, LK99, or whatever it manifests itself into. Kind of like, I don't know. Anyway, so, okay, the stuff isn't exactly easy to make. So in this case, so you've got a mix of minerals in this case, and it has to be baked for days at a very high temperature. But what we're doing is we're basically creating a compound or an alloy. So what we're creating here is a metal, more or less, that can float. So imagine you got steel and titanium and aluminum and all these things.
Isn't it crazy
and over
how that coincides with the release of knowledge of extraterrestrials?
You think? Okay. All right. So
isn't that wild how those two things line up? Isn't
that weird? Isn't that weird? Weird, huh? Okay. So basically what's happening here is if you want steel or titanium or aluminum, we go to the Lowe's and grab a stick of it or a plank of it or a cube of it or whatever. But if you go to where it's manufactured, it's created in a crucible. It's created in a furnace, right? So this new compound that's being created is created using a very high amount of heat, to the point where over the weekend, the furnaces and the heating devices that could heat a compound to this temperature, you can't find them on Earth anymore. Scientists, researchers who are trying to replicate the data from the Korean experiment have purchased every single one you could ever find. That's like winter hitting your town and it freezing over everything and everybody losing the heat. Huh?
Which Korea?
South. South. Fortunately.
I was like,
who?
Good. That was a genuinely concern. That wasn't me making it. I was like, hold on, which Korea? That's so important.
You could imagine if it was North Korea and suddenly we're all excited about the new Compound Mart superstore that gets put in our towns, but it's from North Korea, but we're all desperate for it because we need this new technology. That would suck. No, this is South Korea. But basically, in order to create the compound, you need these very high powered furnaces. And they're not big, there's little devices, but you couldn't find one to save your life right now. Similar to like what I was saying, winter hits your town. Everybody goes and tries to buy a heater from the store. They're gone. Generator's gone. So that's what's happening right now is there's this buy up. So we've got scientists trying to replicate the findings. You got debates over the results, and even a Russian scientist using her kitchen counter as a makeshift lab. It's like real life episode of CSI, but more physics, probably fewer commercials. So we're still on the edge of our seats waiting for the official announcement that yes, we have room temperature superconductors. But so far, as of today, we have 2, if not 3 other credible research labs that have replicated the results from the paper of this South Korean research department or individual researcher. Okay, so let me. Everybody's like, yeah, that's really stupid. Thanks for telling us, but how? What will that do? So let me give you a couple examples. Power that you get to your house comes from a grid, right? The power that is inside of your car powering stuff, comes from your battery or the generator, whatever. So room temperature superconductors can revolutionize the whole energy sector by enabling lossless power transmission over long distances. If you go and talk to anybody that knows anything about the power grid, we lose a significant amount of the electricity that you send through the grid. You lose it to the grid.
It's called voltage drop.
Yeah, it's a voltage drop. And so you have to have these, you'll drive down the road and you'll see some weird, like kind of alien like power grid thing off to the side of the road. That is re-amplifying the signal of electricity. But imagine not having to have any of that and basically be able to send power without any attenuation, no voltage drop whatsoever. Suddenly, and I don't want to overstate this, but suddenly you solved, just through standard power grids, you solved our energy problems. You could sell energy to not only another country, you could sell energy to another planet and it'd be fine because you could transfer all of that energy without any resistance, because superconductivity is sort of like this. Imagine if you had your car and it was a superconductor floating above whatever it's resisting against. You could take your finger and just touch the car and it would move forward because there's no resistance. Zero resistance means nothing in the way of that electricity being okay. Here's another one. So obviously magnetic levitation. So you got trains, transport, mass transport, stuff like that, right? High speed, frictionless travel. You don't need a train engine anymore to try to go the to get the wheels moving to pull a half a mile of stuff. You could literally have a guy behind it and goes, and we're off. And he pushes the whole half a mile of train and it starts moving. So you got rid of resistance there. How about medical imaging?
No friction.
Exactly. So take all the things that are suddenly a problem and just put it into your car, for example. You feel the resistance on your steering wheel when you steer? You won't have that anymore. Because if you swap out all the gears and all the stuff that is used to force the wheels to move using the Pitman arm, which is something that we invented back in the 1920s, I think, and replace that with these type of magnetic pairings, suddenly there's no resistance on the steering wheel. No resistance at all. I mean, you don't even need pistons in an engine to explode gas to force a drivetrain to make everything move. You don't need that kind of force anymore. You could literally probably run your car off of a AA battery. This is creepy stuff, but it's true. So another place where this is going to change everything would be advanced medical imaging. So MRIs, for example. So those things work off of a magnetic field. Basically, it bombards your body with a magnetic field, and everything inside your body resonates differently to that magnetic field. And that's why we can get such a super high precision image of what's going on in your body. Now, imagine that if that magnetic field was enabled by superconductors, it'd enhance the resolution of that image to the point where we're looking at cells inside of parts of your body, as opposed to a blurry image that says, yeah, I think that mass might be cancer. Like faster scanning, more accurate diagnoses, and obviously improved patient outcomes, right?
But realistically, how many years out are we from seeing this stuff being incorporated?
Okay, so good question. Now, the blockade to progress.
This is all cool and everything, but
yeah.
Realistically,
the blockade to progress, in my opinion, has always been money and politics. And not like you would think, because yes, it costs money to do this stuff, but think about like the charging stations for Teslas. Roll back 10 years and good luck finding one. You're charging your Tesla from your house, and that was about it. The reason that these just didn't pop up everywhere is because BP and Chevron and all these places are like, well, let me slow the roll on charging stations because we're not making any money on it. And the more charging stations, the more available outside, the more people will buy Teslas, the less they'll come to our gas station. So money is used to prevent progress often. But here's the difference with this, because this thing is being completely democratized as far as the discovery and everything. You can't shut it down. That's why, in this case, Twitter is really important here, is because the message is out. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, and all the research is being done in a very public forum. Some of you have to very publicly try to squash this, like a government, or
yeah, because you can suicide one person.
You can't in this
you can
right now.
Suicide one person, but you can't suicide
Yes,
everybody
10,000.
on Twitter.
Exactly. And you have thousands of researchers now trying to replicate this, which means, so as far as advancement goes, we'll see how it goes. But imagine if this, like if you read the book Atlas Shrugged, the guy came up with an innovation that changed energy. And instead of trying to own it and sell it and distribute it and license it, he just provided it for free. And when he tried to do that, the government was like, you're not going to do that. You're not even going to have it anymore. We're going to take it from you. We may hide it. We may sell it, but thank you very much. And he disappeared. Now he disappeared himself in the book, and he just went to a place and he hid himself and he hid the people that wanted to live that way and everything. But you can't do that here. You can't disappear 10,000 researchers. I don't know, roll back to COVID, and I guess you can, but I think this is too far out in the open for it. So okay, this just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Supercomputing, for example. Your computer is only as fast as it can think, right? But if you add these superconductors to your computer, data analysis, artificial intelligence applications be significantly faster. We would see a leap in technology that we haven't seen since the wheel. And I know I'm people are like, okay, that's enough but right now it's looking like the very sober data from the South Korean research is being replicated.
One of the comments from the live section right now. This is what's happening while you're talking. I'm just going to read a random comment. Neither can I. I have horrible acid reflux, and I'm supposed to be taking daily meds for it, but these ribs are so good. Aside from my mouth being on fire, probably having the shits later.
And I rest my case. All right, fine. I'll stop talking about it, but you'll all be the recipients of the revolution that's coming.
I do believe we are between AI, LK99, and the release that, hey, aliens exist. Because they're doing that for a reason, that third one. Something is going on.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it's at a point now where we can't hide this anymore because they're aware of something. Between these three things, AI, LK99, aliens, I think that we're on the precipice of something really, really, really big. And this is an exciting time to be alive.
We're moving into a time where we, as human species, I don't think we've ever seen this time. What's always happened is innovation has happened, and then we've been able to sit there, hold the innovation, go, okay, how can we use this? I think we're about to take 1,000-year jump in innovation and technology, and we're going to be sitting there collecting the pieces, if that makes sense, on not how to implement, but how to wrap our heads around what this can do. Like we've never been handed something that is so powerful, maybe with the exception of the nuclear bomb, where we've had as humans had to thought, how should we not use this? We've always said this new technology, take 56K modems to DSLs. We're like, how could we use this to make things faster?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, metal shop. You're like, oh, 5D CNC? How could we use this thing? What are the ways? What are the things? Now we're like, everything's available. So we're going to have to think how not to use this to destroy ourselves. Between those three things, AI, LK99, superconductivity, which will change everything as far as power, energy, distribution, data, and I still can't even say it without kind of feeling like I'm a foilhead, but the presence of alien life, like super intelligent alien life. Like we're in a weird moment. We're about to move 1,000 years into the future as far as advancement. And I think rather than thinking of all the ways we can implement the Pittman arm in cars. We're going to be like, how should we stop this?
I'm just excited to be within the next 5 years wearing all chrome looking clothing.
Me too. So
that's what anytime in the future in the movies, for whatever reason, everybody wears chrome clothing. So that's what I'm pretty stoked about.
Raven makes a good point. The Pittman arm was invented in 1830s. So
your mom was invented in the 1830s.
Okay, and I'll just leave you with one thing as far as a little bit of doom on this is if you have a smart race of something else and they come to Earth and they're like, hey, we're an advanced species. We've been talking to your governments for a while. And that's what our governments are saying now. Yeah, we've known this for a while and we've been talking, and yeah, maybe we've been suppressing technologies and innovations and the reality that they even exist. So if you're going to play the long game as a super intelligent society, let's just A, they're good people, let's say. B, they're bad people. We don't know, and we won't know until kind of the outcome of this whole thing, right? But what you can guarantee is as soon as we know that these things, pick one of those, AI, LK99, or aliens, the world will quickly become divided because there's going to be people that are pushing there like, why wouldn't we want to basically just give ourselves to a more intelligent race? Why wouldn't we not just become subservient to that? They can help us. And then you'll have other people on the other side going, yeah, but we're rats to them. We don't even know.
It's never went well for the civilization that was the subservient.
That's yes. And so I whether you're just here on Earth or whether you think there's something after this, this could really accelerate things.
What ends up happening is you end up having 74 babies in some alien's tank in an alien's computer room, and he's trying to hatch a brine shrimp frantically to keep you fed.
Yeah. Yes, just like you are. You're scrambling to keep your axolotls alive by frantically ordering living food off of Amazon. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to be like, we need more cheeseburgers.
How do we grow cheeseburgers?
Anyway, that's sort of dizzying and a bit of a blur because it's a dizzying and a blur to me. But like, I thought, wow, that's frightening. And what's fun about it is nothing I just said is a conspiracy theory. None of it is conspiracy theory. That's what's disturbing about all that.
How far out, how many years out do you think we are from the point?
Kind of the
boom. Shit. This is
6 months
taking off.
6 months.
Like we're 6 months.
Okay, let me give you an
8 years.
No. Okay, January.
I've got a more Ross.
Okay, I'm telling you. Check this out. January, ChatGPT came out, right? Within 2 months, they were like, hey, look what it can do now. And they showed us examples of ChatGPT looking at a picture of a refrigerator. And you ask the question, what can I make? It looks at the photo that you sent in. It's like, all right, here's a list of 12 recipes you can make based on what I see in your fridge. It could see things. I've already talked about the fact it can see through your walls. I've also talked about the fact that it has which when they brought it out, they're like, this does not have access to the internet. It's literally trained and it's sitting in a room and there's no internet connection to the outside world. And then 2 months later, they're like, all right, we gave it internet access. And today, ChatGPT does not have internet access anymore, cannot see pictures anymore, cannot do half of the things that they showed us it can do and that I accessed that it could do. What that tells you is there was a bleep moment And they're like, we need to make this dumber because we unleashed
You're going to put
something.
this back in the box.
They're trying.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to. So what's happening right now, and this maybe is a bit of a conspiracy theorist, is they're realizing, oh no, we gave the Library of Alexandria all the technology of the gods and the Egyptians, all the things that were lost to mankind. We put it in the hands of every rube out there. And then the powers that be said, let's give them a dumber version. And so literally the questions that I used to ask ChatGPT 3-4 months ago, if you ask those same questions to it now, it's an idiot. It does not give you the same answers. They've dumbed down artificial intelligence because they realized what they did. And they'll even say that. They'll even tell you that. So we've already got the genie out of the bottle when it comes to that. With the genie's out of the bottle on the alien thing, and it's just a matter of time before it's kind of like, all right, so, we decided so this here is Quarkbot. He's from the Centauri Reticuli galaxy. So Quarkbot, go ahead and, tell him who you are. Say hi. But it sounds so weird to say, but it's not a conspiracy anymore. I mean, we're just waiting. These are inevitable things. It's just when.
So does our upcoming apocalypse look like Terminator 2 Judgment Day or Mars Attacks?
I think it looks like Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
I think it looks like, I don't think we see it like it's going to be. I think it's going to be a war of the minds and of war of the minds. I don't think it's going to be guns as much. I think that might be a factor. But if we're talking about the next conflict, I won't even say end of the world or anything. But if we're talking about the next major conflict that we're going to have, it's war of the minds. It's going to be super minds versus super minds. And it's just going to be a question of which super mind are you following?
Okay.
I'm creeped out. 6 months though. I give it 6 months before this stuff's just basic knowledge. We already know. I've moved on from talking about artificial intelligence with you guys to what you don't know. Jess, I hate to disappoint you in this, but the researcher that we just brought on and I got together and we spent a couple hours and I showed her how to use artificial intelligence to do some things. And with her knowledge of research, we turn around the last 3 911 calls episodes. The research and writing was done in under 30 minutes for each one of those. Baked. So, and that's putting artificial intelligence into the hands of somebody that is expert in a field. And so that shouldn't be like, oh, well, that diminishes the value. But no, an expert using artificial intelligence can do what used to take me 4 days. And then I got it down to 2 days. And then I got it down to 8 hours. And then I started just cutting corners to get it down to 4 hours. She's turning around research and writing that is 4 days worth of work quality now in 30 minutes. And again, it's like, I don't know. You can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, but I bet she doesn't use Microsoft Word.
And you don't. We know that. You do not use Microsoft Word at all. I wanted to end with a couple thank yous though. Your shirt is thank you to one of our sweetest couples alive. And how many times have we seen them at
every time we've done a Horror Hound since 1159's inception?
Yeah.
So 2.
2. It feels like we've seen them 100 times.
Yeah, it does.
So your shirt, we talked about that at the beginning. Also, I wanted to say thank you to Tracy because there's a Lego set called Tales of the Space Age, and it just showed up at my house the other day. And she sent it to my wife. She was like, I remember you saying how much you like watching your wife work on Lego sets and how much she loves working on it. So she sent us the Lego set Tales of the Space Age. And it's fun. And thank you. So thank you so much for that. I now will lose my wife to Lego assembly every Sunday for the next 2 Sundays. Also, another thing on 1159 Plus, I feel bad because I haven't recognized these people in a little while, but you can, I didn't know you could do this, but you can gift. You can give us, what is it? Not tips, but donations. So through Plus, you can give us donations, and we've received some since we started Plus. We've received a handful of donations, and I wanted to just say thank you to Amber P. Do I even need to say Amber P? We know who I'm talking about. Amber Raptor. Amy W. Mark Williams.
Was it Amber Raptor or Amber Parrish?
Well, they're one and the same. Amber Parrish is Amber Raptor. Her last name isn't Raptor, Kent.
Oh.
Mark Williams gave us a donation in April, and then Maisie Holiday gave us a donation last month, and just so grateful for the people that kind of literally help us pay the bills. So thank you. Also, another thing I wanted to mention really quick was through Plus. I didn't really remember that you could do this. It was something that we talked about at the beginning, but you can gift tier memberships to other people. So I wanted to thank, why is my phone going off? My phone's ringing. Crystal Sorensen, who gifted a membership to Super Soup for 3 months to somebody. Thank you very much. Peyton Tangway did the same for Soup 3 months. Jessica McNamee, she donated 3 Super Soup tiers for 3 months to people. So thank you to her if you're listening. Thank you. Tracy Cash, she donated a Super Soup for 3 months to somebody. And Erica Morales, she donated a Soup for 3 months to somebody. So just thank you. Thank you. You're helping to build our community, and we feel the love. We feel the love. Everybody's probably fast forwarded everything I've been saying, so we'll end it here.
Bye.
Hugs, everybody.
Bye. Goodbye.